So, believe it or not, a lot of people ask me where the name Vampire Toy comes from. And it's kind of one of those things that when you hear the name Vampire Toy, you kind of have this sense that it's a little bit of an entendre, a little bit of a maybe innuendo, a little bit. And that might be slightly true. However, the origin story of Vampire Toy and how that name came to be is a lot more innocent than a lot of people realize. And I decided I wanted to make a video talking about where the name comes from in case you or maybe someone who stops by my stream or some of my content across the web is just asking like, what is a vampire toy? Why are you called Vampire Toy? Are you a vampire's toy? These are literally some of the questions I've been asked over the many years I've been creating content as a Vampire Toy. So I figured it's time to put it in a video so that everybody knows once and for all the origin of my name. The first time I ever used a Vampire Toy as a username was back in the day, several years ago. I want to say it was around 2009, 2008. A long time ago, basically, on a site that some of you may be familiar with called GaiaOnline.com. If you didn't know, Gaia is still up and running, although I haven't personally checked it out in quite a long time, so I have no idea the state of it whatsoever. So for those of you unfamiliar with what Gaia Online is, it is a website that is kind of a forum-based website where you get like a tiny little chibi avatar that you can dress up. You could play games to win gold, you could post on the site to also earn some gold, and you would use this gold to buy items. They had like specialty items every month, and then they opened up what's called the cash shop, and it was a really cool kind of system, but it was just kind of a social website back in the day. But what would happen was in its early days, it was quite easy for your account to get hacked. You would be posting on the forum one day, and then the next day you would try to log into your account and you couldn't access your account because it was so easy to hack into people's accounts. So what these hackers would do was they would see you posting in the forums. They'd kind of scout out their prey, and if your avatar looked very fancy and very expensive, you were definitely going to be a target for getting hacked. And so it was a very popular practice back then to create what we called mule accounts. And so you had your main account that you would post on, you'd decorate your avatar, whatever, and then you would have your mule accounts. And your mule accounts were supposed to be kind of like your bank, where you would secure your items and your gold in an account that you only signed into in order to withdraw those items to your main account. You would just trade it with your main account, and that's all that account was used for. And it was a very effective method to preventing hackers from basically emptying your entire inventory of all your items and all your gold. It was very, very useful for that. Even though at the time, what was really weird was that Gaia prohibited people from having mule accounts, but because this was such a rampant issue, most users kind of just said talk to the hand and made mule accounts anyway. And I was one of those people. So I had decided I was going to make a mule account for this purpose. And I, at the time, and still am, obviously, very obsessed with vampires. And it was something that I really enjoyed the topic of and the genre. I was very into it during this time. And I decided I wanted my account to have vampire in the name. So, being very creative as I was back then, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I name it Vampire Mule. That's not very creative, but it's kind of what the account is. So I just kind of pushed those two words together and I typed it in, and the username had already been taken. I'm really glad that that's not the name that I stuck with, to be perfectly honest with you. I tried some other usernames as well. Every single one that I tried was taken, so I kind of took a step back and I was like, okay, well, in a way, this account is kind of like my toy account because I'm putting all my items in this account. You know what? Let me see if the name VampireToy is taken. Plus, it kind of has a cool ring to it. I kind of like it because it has that, like I said in the beginning of this video, like a double entendre, a little bit of a little nuance there. And to my surprise, it was available. So I got the username VampireToy. And that's pretty much the origin of VampireToy, the name, and where that name comes from. But there's an even deeper level as to why VampireToy is the username that I decided to start streaming with. At some point, it was no longer necessary for people to use mule accounts. It just was a thing of the past. Gaia had increased its security. It was no longer common for people to get hacked anymore, so yay for Gaia. But now I had this account and I was kind of like, well, I kind of like the name better than my main account, which I will not tell you what it is, by the way. And if you know what it was, please take that to your grave, or else I am taking you to your grave. But not really. I mean, I'm not threatening you. So VampireToy actually became my main account, and that's what I would actually roleplay on Gaia Online. I used to do forum roleplay, as some people know, and I was on Gaia Online doing that, and I really enjoyed that. Ran a very successful roleplay guild, if you know that as well. That one's going to your grave as well. I had a lot of fun on there, and I met a friend I got very close with. She and I used to roleplay together a lot, and it was a really good time getting to know her at a character. We would all hang out, and at some point I had to actually go to college, and because I was going to college, I wanted to focus more on my studies, so I really took a step back from role-playing in general, and I buckled down to focus on what was going on in my life at the time. And while I was off at college, I got the unfortunate news that my friend, my role-playing friend, had passed away from committing suicide. And it devastated me because, like I said, I'd grown very close to this person, and she was a wonderful person, had been through quite a lot in her life, and it really hit me very hard because that was the first time I had ever lost someone to that, and it really impacted my life from that point on, and I became more interested in mental health. I had played around with the thought of being a content creator for a while around that time, but it was always one of those things that I was like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It was very wishy-washy. And then one day, an infamous YouTube video got uploaded, and it was a video about somebody in Japan. And if you know where I'm going with this, if you were around during that era of YouTube, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Needless to say, I was infuriated with that content, and even more so infuriated with the fact that there was almost no punishment for what had happened. But at the time, it really kind of set a fire under me, because I realized that if there was a person out there making that sort of content based on such serious topics in a way to almost ridicule or take advantage of that situation, I wanted to be the inverse of that and bring awareness about how serious of a topic this sort of thing is, and how it's something that shouldn't be taken so lightly because it affects so many people. And I've learned over the many years that I have been creating content that many people have been affected by somebody who has committed suicide, someone close to them. And that's the message that I wanted to convey to people, is that this is a serious issue. People suffer from this every day with thoughts of suicide. Someone they may have known may have done this as well, and it was something that really motivated me to start creating content to bring awareness to this issue. Like I said, it lit a fire underneath me, and I became more determined than ever to become a content creator that would bring this sort of awareness and positivity out into the world instead of the negativity that I was seeing being propagated on the web. I sold several of my belongings to save up for a proper PC. I bought my setup. It wasn't the most glamorous of setups, but it was bare bones, and all I had was these bare bones of a setup and a mission to do good in the world. And that's when I decided that the name VampireToy would be most appropriate to creating this channel, as a way to remind myself of the reason why I even began this journey in the first place. So every time I see my name, VampireToy, it is a reminder to me why I began this journey in the first place. I've met a lot of content creators over the years. As of this video, I'm going on 7 years in May, and I've met content creators who are in this line of work for all different reasons. Some people want to make friends, some people want to make money, some people want to be famous. Everyone's here for their own reasons. But know the reason why I am here is what I've explained in this video. I don't plan to leave. I'm always dealing with something coming up, and maybe a setback or 2 or 5 or 10 or what have you. But I always pick myself back up to come back to content creation, because to me, this means more than a paycheck, fame, popularity. I believe content creation can be a tool for good, for spreading positivity and bringing good people together to uplift each other instead of tearing each other down. I feel like I've really built an amazing community who echoes that sentiment. And if you are a part of my coven, as I know a few of you watching this are, you'll know that that rings true. I'm proud to be your coven mother, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm here to stay, for better or for worse. I'm here, and I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how many times I fall or get kicked down or get taken advantage of, looked over, mistreated, bad luck, unfortunate circumstances, what have you. I will always come back. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Was this your first time hearing this story? Have you heard it before? I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. And in case you haven't heard it yet today, you are awesome and capable of more than you even realize. Much love, my dears, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.